What's happening, guys? Welcome along to another episode of 420 News. Slightly later than normal, guys. Had some technical issues there, as Irish knows. I went live at 4:20. I was on time, just about, and it never went live for some reason over on YouTube and Facebook. It just went up on Twitch. So apologies for that, guys. Technical issues. Not too sure what the crack was, but the old turn it off and turn it back on kind of worked. Just happened to log out of my Streamlabs account, log back in. I had to log back into Facebook and all that fun stuff as well through it, and it sorted itself out anyway. Guys, it's Monday, start of a new week. We had a good old weekend, in fairness. I had a great weekend. Apologies for not going live for last Friday's 420 News, but I suppose really it was a long weekend for me. On Thursday, I had intended on going up Carron with my daughter. I promised her before she goes back to school that we would go over and go down to Kerry and climb Carron, the highest mountain in Ireland, if you didn't know. But on Thursday morning, while I was making my cup of coffee early that morning, something strange happened. I just had one of these episodes. Been having these reoccurring things where I just happened to pass out. I don't know why. Doctors say it's maybe blood pressure or something like that. I'm not too sure. But I ended up spending the day in bed on Thursday. And when I woke up then on Friday, I decided, I'm going to honour my promise to my daughter. And we just hit the road and went straight down to Kerry, down to Clare, and we beat that mountain. We got higher than kites. We climbed right to the top, and we did it in good time too. We got from the car back to the car again, all the way up to the top and down, in 6 hours and 45 minutes. That was on Friday, so and a nice one there, Hype. See that coming in, much appreciated. Second time's the charm. Legend. But yeah, as I say, 6 hours 45 minutes for myself and my daughter to take on that mountain. I was keeping an eye on the clock down there, guys, and at around that time, 4:20, I had no internet coverage, being in the bloody middle of a mountain. We went up I don't know if you know the passes going up there, but I went up on the right hand side. We didn't go up Devil's Ladder, we came down Devil's Ladder. But when we were up there in between the mountains, obviously we had no internet coverage, so I wasn't able to do a little live segment from up there. I was planning on it and all, I was hoping to do it, but it just didn't work out, so sorry about that, guys. We had a great weekend though. So after we done that on Friday, then Saturday morning, up again bright and early and hit the road down to the sunny southeast. And down in the sunny southeast is where we have today's first headline of the 420 News. It was the protest that we held in support of the ReLeaf Cafe, the CBD cafe below in Dungarvan, after one of our very own, Mark, had his home raided, unfortunately. Mark, being a member there of the Cannabis Activist Alliance, who we've been meeting every Tuesday evening at 9 p.m. for the last, I would imagine, close to 12 months now at this stage. We've been meeting. But Mark has been a regular contributor there to the Cannabis Activist Alliance, big supporter of ending cannabis prohibition in Ireland, and he's providing CBD and other cannabis-related products there through his store down in Dungarvan. And unfortunately, because of the nature of Mark's business being, selling cannabis-derived products, CBD that being, his home was unfairly raided. Mark's after being through 10 raids already, guys, as I mentioned last week. And in response to this raid on his home yet again, we held a protest on Saturday. We can't let these things go unanswered, and in fairness, with 3 days notice. So the raid happened on Monday night. On Tuesday evening, we met, as I say, with the Cannabis Activist Alliance, and on Wednesday, we announced our intentions to hold the protest for Saturday. So, we'd only 3 days notice there, really. And we still managed to get a great turnout down there in Dungarvan. We didn't fill the street, we didn't have hundreds, we didn't have thousands, but we had enough. I would say the vast majority of people who showed up would have been people who shopped at Mark's store, at his cafe, purchased coffee there and other CBD type products. We had many kids there at the protest too. It seems like there's a number of kids in the Dungarvan area who've been using some of these CBD products to help with different conditions they might suffer with. I seen one kid down there holding a sign up saying, "I don't get high, I get healthy." CBD, or was it Cannabis, helps with my autism. And yeah, there was many others down there like it. You know, it wasn't just I suppose what we seen at the previous protests, you know, and at the one down in Kerry, the one in Cork, and even the one above in Dublin at the major protest. You had a lot of people who were consumers of cannabis out there protesting, but at this one, I would say like we had over 50% of the people there would have been just parents and kids, just families, people who shopped at Mark's store. A real change in the type of people that were showing up to the protests. John, but I have a few photos there from that protest. I'll pop them up on screen there now. I've shared these over with others, but I'll pop them up there. 1 second now. Boom, there we go. So these are all the photos that I'd taken myself below in Dungarvan over the weekend. Here we've some of the activists. We've Amy there hiding behind the sign, Ollie of Ollie's Oil, and Neo as well, who came down to support us there on the day. Both again, all three not from Dungarvan, having to travel in order to come down and protest. Here we have again another group of people out supporting ReLeaf. We support ReLeaf. Hemp is not a narcotic. Hope and not dope. Also here, I use cannabis. It helps with my autism. Am I a criminal? I don't get high. I get healthy. There was a sign that I seen one of the kids holding earlier on in the day. But also here, another sign. 11 unlawful raids. Please stop the harassment. And then these are the kids. These were all the kids that were down there with the supporting Mark's store. So there was actually 2 of those signs going around. I use cannabis. It helps with my autism. Am I a criminal? That was the question asked there on the sign being held by the kids. I don't know, can I zoom in here on this? Yeah, there you go. Am I a criminal? I don't get high. I get healthy. So I believe you can all see that nice and clear out there. Hemp is hope, not dope. I use cannabis. It helps me ease with my skin condition, or else I bleed. Am I a criminal? I don't get high. I get healthy. Again, you can't ask that question enough. Like, you know, am I a criminal? I use cannabis. I don't get high. I get healthy. You know, why are we taking this right away from people to be able to choose this medicine? I really just don't understand it. This photo was taken then just before we went out onto the road. As you can see there, a nice crowd gathered to come out and support the cafe there in the day. You would see, I don't know, a healthy crowd of maybe 50 or so people there. Good turnout for a 3 days notice anyway, that's for sure. And we would have marched, as I say, up through the main street of Dungarvan, bringing us to our target destination, the Garda station, where Mark's was unfairly held overnight. And here is the crowd that we gathered out there in the car park. And all of their amazing signs, including the Cannabis Activist Alliance banner there, dead centre. But I also have some footage there from the march the other day. So this was a live video taken as we marched up through the street. Apologies there, actually, I'll go back over to my own page. Where is it now? Martin's World video. Boom, this is the one. We are not criminals.
We are not criminals.
Relief for relief.
Relief for relief.
Patients not criminals.
Patients not criminals.
Free the weed.
Free the weed.
Legalize cannabis.
Legalize cannabis.
We are not criminals.
We are not criminals.
We are not criminals.
We are not criminals.
Relief for relief.
Relief for relief.
We are not criminals.
We are not criminals.
Relief for relief.
Relief for relief.
We are not criminals.
We are not criminals.
Relief for relief.
Relief for.
And so that was some of the chants that we were using going up through the main street of the town of Dungarvan. Many of the people in Dungarvan stopped, looked, and were very supportive. The cars that were passing opposite to us, going in the opposite direction, the majority of them were beeping, cheering out the windows to us, like, yeah, go on, well done, you know. Incredibly supportive. Many of the store owners there, even around the ReLeaf Cannabis store, They even came out in support of us. You know, they were there standing in support out, cheering on the march as we went up through the main street of Dungarvan. Again, showing that the people of Dungarvan have welcomed this business and it's there to stay. This unfair harassment by the Gardaí really needs to stop. I have a picture here of the outside of the ReLeaf store, do I? Yeah, just about a picture of the outside of it. Took this as we were leaving. Most of the guys went back to the ReLeaf Cannabis Artwis Cafe, and they had a coffee there and they all unwound. I myself actually left at about this point and I had to go to Tramore. Went down to Tramore to the fun fair with the family. My family were after travelling with me that day. They spent the day in the park while I was out protesting and marching. Small sacrifices you make, you know, as part of being a campaigner. But it was great to see the support there for Mark and his store as we marched up through the streets of Dungarvan. It was incredible, in fairness. So well done to everybody who made the effort to get out there and come down in support of Mark and the whole, you know, just calling for the ending of cannabis prohibition. I suppose that was the main call on the day, and we were all calling for cannabis prohibition to end. Then outside in the car park, while we were waiting for 420 to roll around, and this is the car park of the Garda station, Mark said a few words. So I've this lined up here for you as well, so just 1 second.
Go for it. Say as few or as much as you'd like.
Look, it's people like all you here today. You're all patients of the shop. You've all used the products. You can all see the benefits cannabis has on you. You know, it's helping with different conditions. They're using for skin conditions, using for anxiety. To name a few, like there's arthritis. Like our customers come from young and small. Like you have a 70-year-old woman that has it for arthritis. You have a little girl that can't with her autism. We can't stop giving our patients the product, but we don't care if they come in and take another 20 grand, another 20 grand, another 20 grand. We'll stay going, and that's what keeps us going. Is to see everyone it working for them, and I don't know what even way to say it, the way it works and helps people. It's not a drug. It's not a drug.
Not high. Healthy, not high.
Yeah, it gets you healthy, not high. Look, I'm not one to really mad for talking. I'm just kind of overwhelmed by the amount of people that even turned up today. And it just shows that the cannabis industry is getting stronger. And people need to talk out more. Stop being afraid of. They can't bully us anymore. We need to speak up. Like we all know, every family in Ireland, I can say at least one member of every family uses cannabis or CBD oil for health benefits. And we should have a choice. We have a choice.
Patients, not criminals.
Exactly. Patients, not criminals. And we don't deserve to be criminals anymore. It needs to end, and it needs to end now.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks, Mark. Thanks very much. Well done. Great stuff, boy.
So that was a contribution made there on the day by Mark. We also had Steph jump up on the mic, and I hope he doesn't mind me playing this. Obviously, it's already after being played out there. Just going to skip forward there to find him. Should have had his little piece lined up. There's Steph, yes. Steph, myself and Mark actually went into the Garda station afterwards with some cannabis in a little civil disobedience protest. And we handed ourselves in for being in possession of what the Gardaí see to be an illegal product.
I don't know any songs.
Yeah, they were wanting me to sing, trying to kill some time until 4:20.
Just, giving the mic there to Steph from the Tidy Buds.
Go on,
Hey
Steph.
everybody, I just wanted to say that, especially in relation to this invasion of the personal space of Mark, I don't want a single fucking cent of my tax money to be wasted and used for this fucking unreal harassment and domestic terrorism that it really is. This is ridiculous. Like, we could spend this money on youth services, on health services, on fucking HSE.
Yes.
But no, instead, we're getting our doors kicked down. No, what we need is regulate, educate, and medicate. Thank you.
Well said, Steph. Well said. And it's so true. Like,
And then just killing some time there again, was waffling on, but I believe we led him in a chant then, calling out the Garda Larkin.
Relief for relief.
There we go.
Relief for relief. Justice for Mark. At this point, totally understand mission, I suppose, in a sense of things.
Oh, we lost it.
Relief for relief. Away from the organised crime. 10. Do you know?
Say that especially.
I was trying to find it. Garda Larkin, stop your barking.
Then they look how many of us. Yeah. We're barking.
Oh, there we go.
Garda Larkin was found it so fit to go and raid Mark's home the other night. I
you
think
go.
that the chant there that we're going to go ahead with is fitting for her. So, Garda Larkin, stop your barking. Garda Larkin, stop your barking. Garda Larkin, stop your barking. Garda Larkin, stop your barking.
So Garda Larkin, I suppose, guys, if you don't know, she was the guard that actually carried out the raid on Mark's home on Monday night. So we went and chanted outside of the guard station for just over a minute. Garda Larkin, stop your barking. Because even the undercover drug squad inside of there, you know, the drug squad, whatever you want to call them, they know Mark's not really a valid target for them, you know, that he's caught in this kind of weird area because of the prohibition of cannabis. So the drug squad don't even really target Mark as such. It's this one, Garda Larkin, like some little piglet trying to climb up the career ladder for herself, trying to make a name for herself. But unfortunately, you know, she went barking up the wrong tree. And we had a response for her. Garda Larkin, stop your barking, girl. Back down, will ya? And hopefully we won't see any more repeats of what happened there on Mark's home. We need to respond every time there's these unfair raids on these CBD businesses around. You know, I would like to see some support for the other businesses too. I've always wanted to go out and hold protests, even here in Cork, for Puff and Stuff, for Funky Skunk. But you know, I don't know, the business owners, it's kind of up to them really, like, to get the ball rolling on the protest. I know the two business owners of those two businesses mentioned, but I suppose with Mark it was different, you know, because he was actively involved with us. He was involved every week showing up to the patients for RTD, Cannabis Activist Alliance. So it was much easier to work with Mark then. And that's nothing against the other guys. You know, I know Helena the Funky Skunk, she's incredibly supportive. She's incredibly busy. But at the same time, we need to be responding to these raids as they happen. We can't let them go unanswered. And so, guys, just one final video then that I've lined up here for you of the action that was carried out there on Saturday was myself, Mark, and Steph heading on into the Garda station with some cannabis in order to hand ourselves in to take up more of the time of the authorities, of the system. You know, there was 3 people went into the Garda station. We took up about maybe 20-25 minutes of the guard's time, as he had to go through his notebook, take our name, take our details, ask us our questions and blah, blah, blah. He had to put the stuff into evidence bags. Now that has to go back and has to be processed. That's a file sent to the DPP. That's 3 files sent to the DPP. That's 3 files that have to be processed by the DPP, then sent back to the guards. Then summonses issued, and then summonses delivered, you know, all of the stuff, like, you know, so that we really now get the gears of we get the system into overdrive, if we will to a point where they can no longer keep up with the pressure we put in it as people. That's what I believe that we need to do. We just march on into the Garda station, as many of us as possible, as many as are willing. It's a big ask, guys, and I said that to the crowd down there on the day. As I said, there was about 50 people there on the day. I threw it out there to the crowd, who's willing to go in, even with some CBD cannabis flowers, and we had 3 volunteers, 3 out of 50. But look, that was 2 more people than what I had the last time I done this, so it was great to see that improvement there. A tripling of the force, if you will. But this is a little bit of what happened inside with the guards, and I had to cut it short because I was giving out some sensitive information towards the end of the video. But this is just a little taste of what goes on when you hand yourself in this act of civil disobedience. You know, it's nothing to be afraid of, that's for sure. So I'll press play on this. So there's a bit of waiting involved. Very good. I just heard I've some cannabis. We're just down here committing civil disobedience, so I would like to be brought to court for possession of cannabis.
Okay, well I'm going to get one of the members to go out and speak with you.
Brilliant, thanks very much.
Hang on there, we'll see it.
Brilliant, thanks. He let me keep my cannabis. He's like very trusting of me as a criminal. So I just admitted to a guard that I had cannabis, and he was happy enough to walk away and let me there with my cannabis. At this point, I could have turned around and walked out the door, like, you know. But they didn't know how to deal with it, really. Do you know? Bit more weight in there for them. I shouldn't have let them leave. We were looking around at some of the stuff they have inside of there, actually. I believe earlier on they had one there, like drug litter. Drug related litter. Flashing me spliff there I was. I shouldn't have let them leave. Like that one right there. Yeah, this actually was something I always annoyed me when I was at a guard station. To achieve the highest attainable level of personal protection, community commitment and state security. Like that one right there in the centre. Like, compare that to what they do. Like, this. Like, you know?
There's the young fella that jumped on top of me.
Did he?
Yeah, that's the young fella that jumped on top of me.
One of the guards, Mark Spot, that was after raiding his gaff the night before. He was the guard who actually came out and dealt with us. Perfect. This is him. There he comes. Pretty good. Yeah. How are you doing? That's just the cannabis joint that I've come in here in possession of.
Just caution that, not advise you anything unless you wish to do so.
Perfect, yeah.
Will be taken down right now and maybe given an evidence. Do you understand the caution?
I do indeed, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. This Garda's name was Garda Eric. I didn't catch his surname, but welcome to Martin's World, Garda Eric. Garda Eric was actually aware of Martin's World. He said he hadn't watched any of the shows. No, I don't know, can I believe him? But he knew of the show. I was fucking blown away when he said he knew of the show. I was like, what? But obviously maybe some of the actions in the recent weeks got some national attention. So maybe that's why he knew it. But I was just blown away that he knew about it. Are you actually Martin Condon, this is? Oh yeah, perfect. It's just CBD cannabis in solidarity with ReLeaf, who again was unfairly targeted because of the prohibition of cannabis. So this is one of their products. And I would just like to add my name to the list of people to go forward with court cases. Don't believe it's an illegal product, and I don't believe the treatment that people like myself and Mark get as a result of this is fair. And I believe maybe I'm not alone in this. I believe there's some others there who also are in possession of cannabis at the moment, and they would like to submit it too.
This is definitely not illegal based on the EU court ruling, so there should be no.
So yeah, and that's pretty much where the video comes to an end. And as I start to give my date of birth, address and stuff like that, I just didn't want to be giving out that sensitive information. Then obviously he repeats it at the end, so I didn't bother going back live, because all that happened then there afterwards was we were given the voluntary caution by the guards. He was asking me, what is this? I told him in response, I said, this is cannabis. Straight up, I was like, this is cannabis. You know, and therefore for me, even admitting that is cannabis, and that is exactly what it is. It's a different form of cannabis, you know, but that's me admitting that I'm breaking the law, because Irish law, in black and white, it says cannabis is illegal. It doesn't say CBD cannabis is legal and THC cannabis is illegal. It says cannabis is illegal. So that CBD product that was less than 0.2% THC, you know, it couldn't be regarded as a narcotic because it's not really going to get you high. You know, that's still seen as illegal, and therefore I broke the law the other day. I'm going to now be brought to court. That joint put into an evidence bag has to be sent to Forensic Science Ireland also before the file is prepared for the DPP. So actually, yeah, that's what goes on. The evidence bag, the evidence goes to the Forensic Science Ireland to confirm that it is cannabis. Then the comes back to the guards, the confirmation. They then send off the file then to the DPP, who can then process it because now they know it's cannabis. And this is why it takes so long. You know, we covered the FSI here in the show a number of times. The FSI can't even keep up with the amount of work that's there. They've got a new lab that's opened up. I don't know, is it after opening or is it due to open soon? But there's a new lab that's after being built to a cost of multiple millions. I believe it was like 40 million or something like that. It's after costing the state to build this lab for the guys. Possibly more, I don't know. It's some crazy amount of money that they're after throwing in behind it, and it's above in County Kildare, I believe. And this is a new lab where, well, as we broke it down here on the show already, Forensic Science Ireland, they over 50% of their time is spent dealing with drug cases. The other 50% then is broken down between like rape, murder, burglary, you know, all of those other crimes, you know, fingerprinting, DNA analysis, and all of that kind of stuff. That's less than 50%. Over 50% is drugs. Testing my cannabis joints, testing the old bits of coke and whatever else that they go around the place. And as we mentioned, what value do we as the public get for that? It takes them a year to put out a warning that they're after finding synthetic cannabinoids in cannabis samples. You know, that AB pink Pinaka stuff that I talked about the other day. A year it took them to release that information. Mad stuff, like, honestly, seriously mad stuff. But yeah, that's the action anyway, guys, that we carried out there on Saturday. I hope I can inspire more people to just be willing to go into the guard station and put yourselves out there, you know. Why wait around to get caught? Really, like, why wait to get caught? If we can just organise it every week, maybe, let's do it every week. We have to be consistent. It has to be kept up. That's the thing. It has to, like, that's where the numbers get generated. If we were able to do it on a daily basis, that would be even better. Imagine if you had 20 people going into a Garda station on a daily basis. That's every day. Like, that's 20. Like, if you would imagine, maybe, I think on average it worked out there about 7 minutes per person the other day. So you're talking about 20 people there. So you're talking nearly 2 hours, 2.5 hours of Gardaí time just taken up with having to process these CBD cases, all these CBD joints. And it's like, we can do this. I really do believe we can do this. We just have to unite. We just have to really brave this one. Call their bluff. They can't lock us all up. They can't threaten us all with the law. There's only so many guards out there. And I believe Natalie O'Regan done the numbers there. I'm going to pop this up, actually. Natalie O'Regan, another kind of cannabis activist out there who I've interviewed in the past, actually. If you haven't seen that interview, go check it out. But Natalie O'Regan done a breakdown of numbers there over on our Twitter page the other day, where she was talking about the number of cannabis consumers in Ireland versus the number of Gardaí. Where is that now? But she came up with a funny one. Like, it was the number of Gardaí. We outnumber the Gardaí effectively. But this is something that I would imagine you're all probably very well aware of. Just seeing if I can find it. Oh no, I can't find that post that she had put up. And it was a very good post, in fairness. Balls. Alright, bear with me. It's worth sharing. Like, I do believe it definitely is. I thought it was a lot more recent than what might be. Natalie tweets a lot. Go on, Natalie. There we go. I finally found it. It was a fun Friday fact. Here we go, guys. Apologies. Thanks, everybody, for bearing with me. We didn't have a max exodus there from the audience. But fun Friday fact, Natalie says, in Ireland, there are 850,000 cannabis consumers based on the reported 17% of the population. There are almost 15,000 guards, Department of Justice, January 21. That's the source of that information. That's 56 cannabis consumers for every Garda. 56, that's all, John. 56 cannabis consumers for every guard. Like, guys, we don't know, what are we waiting for? Then she goes on to say, year-on-year average, 15,000 are put through the criminal justice system for personal possession of drugs. If cannabis is the most widely used drug in Ireland, we can make a logical conclusion that the vast majority of the figures relates to cannabis. I believe when I was at the Cork Joint Policing Committee one time, the number 77% was thrown out. That was 77% of the drugs seized by the drug squad in Cork. I believe this was between 2014 and 2015. Would have been cannabis, 77%. And then the remainder, 23%, being made up by all the other drugs: heroin, cocaine, ecstasy, all the other ones. 77%. Imagine that. Crazy. But again, like when you look at this here, year on year, 15,000. Okay, that's the average. 15,000. How many people do we need to get going into the Garda station every day, in order to match that number? Imagine if we could double that. So let's say on average 15,000 people are put through for personal possession, but let's say we mess up the system and we increase that number to 30,000 because we had another 15,000 on it. Do you know, let's say you had 15 people going into 10 Garda stations across a day, every day, you know, for, what's that, 100 days? And there you go. I think that's 15,000. 10 Garda stations, 15 people, 10 Garda stations. That's 150 cases a day. By 100 days would be 1,500. Alright, so yeah, so that would be only 1,500. So you'd have to get 150 people to go into 10 Garda stations every day for 100 days to match that 15,000. It's doable, guys. It's doable, isn't it? Oh, man. And Natalie goes on to say then, even a conservative estimate of 500,000 people, if we average at €30 a week spent on cannabis, taxed at 23%, that would amount to €3.45 million in revenue a week, not including jobs, taxes, less spent on prisons, courts, etc. And she says, I'll just leave this there as reference, the state spends 147 million a year on hidden costs of drug misuse. And that was an article that was put out by the Irish Times a number of weeks ago there, on the 14th of August. So if you haven't seen that one, go check it out. 147 million spent by the Irish state every year on this failed war on drugs. Great use of our money, isn't it, guys? Decent use of our money. If you're all happy about it, you know, sit back, do nothing about it. If you're not happy about it, join me and let's break the system, because the system's already broken. It's treating me like criminals. It's treating many of you like criminals. If that's not an indication of a broken system, then I don't know what is. I just realised I'm wearing a blue t-shirt and it's almost green screened here on ye. Sorry about that if it's annoying you. And also, guys, shout out to everybody in the audience. I know with the technical issues there and getting started, I never said hello, so hello. John Finnegan is out there, Bogwan's son, Endo with Amy. What's going on, guys? Teresa's out there, Skatanist, John Finnegan, Bogwan's son, Skatanist, R420 Supplies, DB Woodcraft, Podge is out there as well. Aaron Joyce, what's happening? I'm doing well, Aaron. Nice one for asking, pal. Hype is out there as well. Zappa, what's going on, Zappa, in the audience? Gerald Brady, what's going on, Gerald? It was a great climb, and yeah, we came down the Devil's Ladder. Great crack. Very much enjoyed it. It was a bit foggy on the way down the Devil's Ladder, which I kind of preferred not being able to see the bottom, because to be very honest, I don't do very well with heights, but at the same time I enjoy kind of scaring myself. But there was a few times there climbing up and you're looking down and you're like, Jesus, we're up high. Clinging to the edge. Mark Andrew saying, if we handed in 10 bags with a crumb in each, would they all have to be tested? Yeah, they would all have to be tested, Mark. No matter how small the cannabis you hand yourself in, if you're in possession of cannabis, you're breaking the law. There is nothing in the law that says, look, if it's 0.0001 of a gram, then we let you off. But no, there's nothing. So if you bring in the smallest crumb and it's cannabis, they kind of have to process you. They have to. Like I've been done for trace elements of the baggie. Do you know the baggies? Do you know these shitty fucking bags? Do you know when you used to be getting these bags there before, these clear plastic bags, and they'd have little bits of specks of dust on the inside of the bag? I've had cops take those and say, oh yeah, that's enough to do you. Yep, we do you for that. Yeah, trace elements of cannabis residue on bags, and people were getting done for possession. I've been done for that. Tom Mahan's out there as well. What's happening, Tom? Martin Horgan's in the audience. What's happening, Martin? John Finnegan. Anybody else I haven't said hello to? Irish Hemp Harvest. What's happening, Irish Hemp Harvest? And Miss Dowes. What's happening, Miss Dowes? Welcome along, guys. And nice on everybody there who's after liking the stream as well. See lots of names popping up there. Let's spark up an old bowl with you guys. I had a sneaky one there as some of the videos were playing earlier, but again, a little bit of civil disobedience here on the podcast. I'm in possession here of some cannabis, as I nearly always am when I go live here on this show, and I'm going to now consume some in civil disobedience, as we all should be doing. This law is wrong, and as citizens of the state, we have a duty to stand up to unjust laws, as you know, and to speak out against them as we experience them, because our silence only perpetuates the suffering of others. That's what's inspired me to speak out. If I was to remain silent, if I was to give up cannabis, you know, I would be, you know, endorsing the pain and suffering of others by not challenging it as I met it. So, you know, that's me, and I hope others will join me, as they already have. I know many of you are out there have already, you know, been inspired by some of the stuff that I've done, and have changed your way of thinking. You know, you're Steph, you know, fair play, Steph. Like, I believe, you know, maybe when Steph started watching this show, that he never would have thought that he would have been marching into a Garda station with me, but nonetheless, he did it along with myself and Mark. So again, you know, I hope to see that that's just, I don't know, the spread of optimism for me, the TE, continue, because, you know, we are not criminals, lads, and we should not accept the treatment as that either, you know. So yes, civil disobedience, let's get it done. Also, actually, on the topic of Steph and some of the inspiration that's come from the show, the Tidy Buds, just have to give a shout out to him there, in fairness. I captured this beauty there as I turned my back there. I seen Steph picking up some rubbish there along the main street of Dungarvan. This is after the protest was finished, and Steph was out just picking up little bits of rubbish there just outside of Churrosity. That's the neighbours of ReLeaf in Dungarvan. So again, the Tidy Buds squad, shout out to everybody involved in that. You legends. Get a close up there of the old jacket. Excellent. Cannabis Community Ireland, Tidy Buds squad. Hashtag Cannabis Reform Ireland. You know, and this is just, you know, a showcase of some of the good things that we do in the community. Is you know, we're not criminals. We can be a benefit to the community. The laws that try to remove us from the community are they're irresponsible and they're misplaced. You know, they're making criminals out of good people. So right, I'll drive on with some other news that I've lined up for you there today, guys. There was 1.3 million euro worth of cannabis seized at a grow house in County Meath. Yeah, that was in County Meath, where the Gardaí, I don't know if it was on the main street of County Meath or what, but that's what was photoed in the article. I'm going to see if I can get some more photos there, if there's been any photos put up of the cannabis plants that were seized, because they didn't have any photos up there earlier when I seen it, and no, they still don't have any photos up of the plants, but there was 1,100 cannabis plants seized in County Meath. This was at 9 p.m. on Saturday evening, and again, as part of Operation Tara. And the article reads as follows. It says a number of Garda cars rushed to a retail unit in a popular Irish town as over 1,000 cannabis plants worth more than 1.3 million were seized during a drug bust. Now they rushed to the retail unit, you know, very dramatic here. It says shortly before 9 p.m. on Saturday, units connected to Operation Tara conducted a search of a premises in Ashbourne, County Meath. A grow house was located on the property, with Gardaí saying that approximately 1,100 cannabis plants were discovered during the operation. It says as of yet no arrests have been made, but the Garda units still remain on site as of Sunday morning. Investigations are continuing into the incident. A spokesperson said for the Gardaí, as part of Operation Tara, Gardaí have seized 1.3 million worth of cannabis following a search of an operation in County Meath last night, Saturday 28th of August 2021. Shortly before 9 p.m. last night, Gardaí conducted a search of a premises in Ashbourne. A grow house was located in a property and approximately 1,100 cannabis plants pending analysis. Forensic Science Ireland oozing at the mouth now. Yes, more jobs, boys. Keep it coming. We might have another lab there down in Cork soon. They were discovered during the operation. It says no arrests have been made and investigations are ongoing. What a waste of time. 1,100 plants, 1,100 cannabis plants. You know, that's a great opportunity there for above in County Meath. 1.3 million. Slap a 23% tax on that, or 21% tax, whatever tax you want on it. Like, you know, and you're talking over a €250,000 there. Do you know, almost a quarter. Is it over a $250,000? Yeah, 1.3. Slap a 20% tax on that there, and yeah, it's 2.6 million. Or sorry, not 2.6 million. 260,000. €260,000 there in tax if you were to just put a 20% tax on that. Cannabis is getting to the streets, guys. This is just a waste of time, a waste of Garda resources, diverting them away from real crimes, from real criminals, and we're just wasting our time here. It's time to legalise this, create the jobs. If we were to be employing people, not only would you be making the 260,000 in the tax on the sale of the cannabis, but the people getting paid for the growing of the cannabis, then they would be getting paid a wage. Their wage would be getting taxed, so there'd be income tax. Those people will be able to spend money again within their own economy, within their own communities, again stimulating the economy, creating more jobs in turn. Oh, whoa, who'd have thought? Regulation of cannabis would have been so beneficial for the Irish community. Mustawa, nice one, legend there. He says, great to see the community supporting ReLeaf after what happened. Yeah, it was a tremendous turnout there. As I say, I was really happy with it. On 3 days notice, I was just really worried that we would show up down there and we would have had about 10 people in the field, you know, ready to march up through the street. It wouldn't look as effective. Even with 50 people marching on 3 days notice, man, that's a hell of a march and that's a hell of a turnout. I was really happy with it, especially in Dungarvan. Dungarvan is a bit of a difficult spot to get to, from other parts of the country. A few people had, we would have had more people, except a few people had travel issues. We had some supporters in Kerry who, you know, it just wasn't feasible to travel from Kerry by public transport to Dungarvan. It was costing too much. It just wasn't feasible for them, and I'd imagine that's the same for people in other areas. You know, it's unfortunate, but still tremendous turnout. So yeah, nice one for that there, Mustawa. Martin Horgan says, still no deaths from cannabis, but the number of smokers worldwide has increased to 1.1 billion in 2019, with tobacco smoking causing 7.7 million deaths, including 1 in 5 deaths in males worldwide. 28th of May 2021 there, that quote is coming from, or that statistic is coming from. Nice one for that, Martin. Yeah, no, I don't understand it either. You know, cannabis has been proven to be incredibly safe. It's been used by humans for millennia. You know, as I said, it's going back that the oldest known use of cannabis is 12,000 years ago. It's almost predating now, kind of recorded history really, from when things have been written down and all of that kind of stuff. I believe the earliest finding of cannabis use was the use of hemp fibers to be scribed on the outside of a pottery. So they were able to kind of determine that the pottery was scribed with a hemp fiber. Again, I don't know how they've done that, but that's the archaeologists there for you, man. They're tremendous these days. I do believe there was another finding that even predates that one. But this stuff is all like cannabis, like, you know, if you're out there, if you were out as a hunter-gatherer or whatever, and you're going through the bush, and next you get that smell, and you're like, something smells nice. Where's that? Oh, look at this plant over here and all this stickiness. Like, oh, I'm going to take this back with me. Like, I'm going to harvest this one. And as a hunter-gatherer, I'd imagine, you know, as humans, we've been growing plants, like, for a long time. A long time. So cannabis, it's been with us for a long time. That's for sure. And when Amy says, Martin like Rain Man over here with maths, debunking the cannabis kills your brain cells, BS. Nice one, Amy. Yeah, I always like maths. I always like playing with numbers. I hate doing it with my head though. I like the challenge of doing it with my head, but I hate doing it live. It's like there's 50 people out there watching now at the moment, over 50 people, and doing maths live, and you might mess up and it can be a bit embarrassing. I didn't mind in my class and my peers back in school. Like, I was always, quick to the mark. Like, bang, bang, I do it out. Like, I used to love maths. But yeah, that was me, math nerd. Teresa says, 4 hours at Co Meath. Yeah, it was a bit of a journey, alright, Teresa. But fair play for doing it. Spent my smoke money on the cause. Well done, Teresa. There's dedication. And it was great to see you down there, Teresa. It was. And I'm sorry I didn't get to hang out. Should have invited everybody to come with me down to Tremor, and we could have hung out down in the fun fair. We had a good crack down there on that, in fairness. Went up on the takeoff with my daughter. It was like a big spinning around jockey, sends you upside down. Great crack. Got some lovely photos of it. R420 supplies. Some drive between Clonmel and Dungarvan would have loved to park up and enjoy the views. Yeah, there is, in fairness, like coming in from the Cork side there, as you come down off the hill into Dungarvan, you can see the whole of Dungarvan from up there on the hill. Absolutely amazing views down there, in fairness. Like, great part of the country. Really recommend people getting down there and visit it if you haven't already, even if you're just doing a bit of hiking and stuff like that. Get up there to Man Falls. I don't know if some Man Falls out there in the audience, but one of the viewers is named after a spot down there in Waterford. Man Falls, brilliant spot as well. They've got a road up there. It's like called is it the Magic Mountain or something like that, where it appears as if you're rolling up a hill. It's to do with the topography of the land, according to some scientists out there who try to debunk the fact that there's some ghost pushing you up the hill or something. But yeah, that's Man Falls, guys. A little bit of local lore there for you. Hi and homegrown, what's happening? He says, rolling here. I hope you're all good. Nice. And my maths teacher always said I worked better with stars in my eyes. Go on, hype. Bernie Vaughan is out there as well. Brilliant work, well done. Easy way is to divide by 100 and multiplied by the percentage. There you go. That's the one. I was always looking for those easy ways. Divide by 100, just move the decimal point, drop off 2 zeros, whatever it is. I'd be always trying to pass these tips on to my kids as well about to try to make maths easier for them, because it can be daunting, but really it's not that challenging, John. But look, I'm not going to go into it because there's going to be people out there saying, oh yeah, look into this fella, if I can say maths is easy. Podge, he says it's like a Simpsons intro. The view coming into Dungarvan. Yeah, it's a beautiful spot, in fairness. Right, let's drive on. Into Cork, we have more from Operation Tara. We're in Cork City in the train station here in Kent Station. As part of Operation Tara, we had some Gardaí on patrol there with one of their drug dogs, and they detected an individual who is carrying €35,000 worth of suspected diamorphine. That's suspected heroin, if you don't know. So €35,000 worth of heroin here that was seized as part of Operation Tara. And I suppose as many people, when I look at the post by Gardaí when they're posting about drugs, this is one of the only times when the public is in support of the Gardaí in this. But again, if you look at this from the other side of it, this isn't a successful operation. While others might view heroin as being a distasteful drug, all this really does out there is make life more difficult for vulnerable drug users. People who use heroin are already the probably most vulnerable of the drug users out there, i.e. being injecting drug users. And what happens time after time when you have seizures such as this is the potency of the drugs. It tends to go down, but when the potency go down, that means the risk of contaminants there from other adulterants within the drugs, and even more dangerous drugs such as fentanyl being found as the contaminants, then go up. That's the danger of this. So while some people might celebrate this work by the Gardaí, again, if you believe the prohibition of cannabis is a failure and it's a violation of our human rights, also the prohibition of other drugs, it's a failure, and it's just making life more difficult and more risky for drug users out there. And 1 second, I'm going to hydrate. And we all really need to band together, because our fight is their fight, really. As we fight for the ending of cannabis prohibition, the people who use heroin, obviously, there's nobody out there marching to legalise heroin. Do you know, you don't see people who use heroin organising themselves and organising protests such as we did. Because, look, that there is much more devastating effects there for the users of this drug because of the way in which they find their way to it. A lot of the times it's people who've been abused, traumatized, maybe addicted to other opiate-based painkilling medication, you know, whatever reason for it. I know Dr. Carl Hart out there is an exception to many of the people who would use heroin out there, but obviously he's not the only exception to it. But these people, they can't organise themselves. So I believe, you know, as we fight for one, our fight is their fight. We really need to see all of this prohibition ended, this whole war on drugs ended, and for a safe and regulated way for all drug users to get access to their drug of choice. Because, as I say, all this is going to do now is going to make life more difficult for the drug users out there. It's going to make it more difficult, more risky for them, because, as I say, once seizures like this get made, you know, large seizures, the potential for overdose in that area goes up, because the drugs get mixed and stepped on with maybe more dangerous adulterants there, such as fentanyl. So yeah, you know, and as well in this operation, there was one young fella arrested. I believe it was a man. It says here in his sorry, no, just going to look and get the age of the individual in this, but like the individual who gets caught up in this, he was only a mule. He was getting paid for this, like, just to move it from one spot to the other. He was not like the kingpin in this at all. He was a man in his 50s. You know, so a high potential there that this individual was probably a person who was addicted to drugs himself and was getting maybe a small portion of this drugs, of these drugs there for himself as payment for moving it. You know, he wasn't financially benefiting. He was just getting his drugs, not having to go and break in and burgle somebody's house. You know, he was trying to see himself as, you know, getting away from that. You know, so again, I hate seeing these things, because I know it's just going to be, for other drug users out there, it's going to make life more difficult for them. And as I say, the person who got caught with it, he wasn't the guy making all the money from it. He was probably just a mule moving it from one spot to the other. These operations are far from successful at all. And yeah, you know, where is he? Yeah, how Frankie by? Hey. Do you know, why we go and keep people safe, you know, as the Gardaí say, keep people safe and all of that stuff? In Ireland, we have over 1 million people currently on waiting lists. Do you know, that's the current state of affairs in Ireland for the hospitals. Over 1 million people on waiting lists. It says here, well, sorry, not over 1 million, almost 1 million people. It says extreme concern as a record-breaking 908,519 sick patients on hospital waiting lists in Ireland. And meanwhile, Operation Tara, we done the maths there the last day, like multiple millions being used in Operation Tara to employ over 329 guards. Do you know? Great use of money, isn't it? Yeah, Frank the Plank. Go on, pads, love it. But again, what a waste of time, what a waste of money, when we could be sorting out this stuff. As Steph said, you know, instead of kicking in the doors of homeowners like Mark, you know, business owners like Mark, we could be putting that money, diverting that money into our health services, having a much more efficient health service, maybe diverting some of it into the youth services also, and helping the youth divert them away from drug use. You know, man, it's so crazy. You look at Iceland, I believe it is. Iceland have shown the way forward, really. Iceland have got great youth diversion programs, if you will. You know, they've got great services there for young people as they grow up, and for people to go out and engage in different kind of activities and different services and stuff like that. And they're able to decrease the or increase the age of first drug use to like 17, 18 on average. You know, most and I think it's even 19. Like that, more on average in Iceland is the first time a person would use an illegal drug. You know, cannabis being that more dominant one there. How do they do that? Obviously, you know, in more investment there into services for the young people, so that they're not bored, so they're not up to, you know, idle hands, you know, do the devil's work, if you will. You know, if you're busy with soccer, if you're busy with hiking or some sort of science or whatever it is, if there's a way for you to input your energy into something, you mightn't find yourself getting too bored and wanting to experiment with recreational drugs as a young person. Just think about it for a second. Like, if our goal is to, we keep people safe, keep people safe. How do we keep people safe? Well, if we can increase the age of first drug use to an age where a person is more developed, if you were to say that, you're going to keep people much safer, aren't you? But no, maybe I'm talking a bit too much sense here. Amy saying, my pain clinic appointment was pushed back a week. I had a crying Insta stories today about how shit my QOL is because of the stupid misuse of a Drugs Act. A quality of life, QOL, quality of life, yeah, I believe that's access to a proper dispensary would change my life completely. How many of those 908,516 people are hashtag chronic pain patients who'd benefit from a cannabis reform Ireland, hashtag creating our future? Well said, Amy. No, well said. I would imagine there's many people on that list who would benefit greatly from better access to medical cannabis here in Ireland. Yeah, you're dead right. That's a very valid question, and I'd imagine there's a lot of them out there would be that. Sorry to hear about your appointment being pushed back again. I'm hearing that from a lot of people. I'm hearing that they're using the both the COVID and the hack as an excuse now for pushing people's appointments back, and that's very unfair. People need these appointments; they need to be seen to in a reasonable time frame, and making patients wait longer and longer. It's just uncalled for. Pod 85 alcohol is the biggest gateway drug and one of the most dangerous legal substances available. Yeah, I would agree with you there as well, Podge. And if we were to legalise all drugs, I would believe that would still remain true. And people mightn't think it, but like when you look at it, like alcohol in comparison to other drugs, you're more a danger to yourself on alcohol than you are on most of the other drugs. Well, maybe cocaine being one of the exceptions, but a lot of the times you're more a danger to talk the air off of somebody. Than get into a fight with somebody. You're more likely to want to set up a business with somebody or something. I don't know. Whereas alcohol, it can tend to get a bit sloppy, and you can get a bit incoherent and very put yourself in a very risky position. But yeah, I would definitely think alcohol would be the most dangerous drug out there. Global resistance. 15 studies now show natural herd immunity is better than vaccine-acquired immunity. Ecstasy, ecstatic joy. Zappa score. Podge destroys families and careers, yet is advertised on billboards. That's right, it's advertised on billboards. I actually took a screenshot there the other week. Was it a week or so ago? I'm going to see if I can show this to you now. 1 second. It was a screenshot on Twitter, I believe it was. And it was a screenshot of Mark's page of ReLeaf. I'm going to see if I can find it here now on my screenshots. Yeah, there we go. I'll upload this there now to my drive. Give me a couple of seconds and I'll be able to show this to you there in a second. Sorry, no. Boom, boom. Right, just gonna have to Gmail it to myself. Why won't they let me share it? Anyway, it just won't let me share it for some fucking reason. I don't know why it won't let me share this. One more try. I know what I can do. I can send it in Messenger. John, I'm sending this to you. If you're out there in the audience, John, you just got a message on me on Facebook. Give me a second. Boom, there we go. Nice one, Johnny boy. Download. Excellent. Savage. Done. Sorry to keep you waiting. Just had to prove a point on this one, really, like, is Mark and CBD businesses out there, they find it difficult in order to advertise their business. But yeah, look at this one here on this. This is a screenshot that I had taken on my phone over on the Twitter app. I'll just zoom in there, make it a bit bigger. It's probably a bit blurred, is it? But this was ReLeaf. This was on the homepage of ReLeaf, and it was I was looking at the post that he'd put up on the Great Day out in Clare. And then as I looked underneath it, promoted tweet right underneath it, Jameson, Ireland. It's, you know, enjoy or love your local. Like, literally, claim your free Jameson, ginger and lime on us. This was a promoted tweet over there on Twitter. Like, this is ridiculous. Mark can't even advertise his CBD products. If he was to put a CBD product up on Twitter or something like that, they flag it, they pull it down. You know, they're like, oh no, you can't advertise drugs on Twitter. But meanwhile, it's madness. It's fucking madness. Like, I can't understand this at all. It's completely absurd. You're sitting down waiting on the 2 or whatever bus there, and meanwhile you're sitting down looking at a big bloody Jameson poster or bloody, I don't know, Jack Daniels poster. Do you know, it's mad. You could be a recovering alcoholic. You know, and I heard on the media as well there recently, they were even talking about gambling, you know, and advertising standards around gambling and consideration for people who might be suffering from gambling addictions, that we shouldn't be advertising it. I would agree with that. I would agree with, like, we shouldn't be advertising alcohol, we shouldn't be advertising cigarettes, we shouldn't be advertising gambling, and we shouldn't be advertising any drugs. I don't believe it. If the drug is good enough, if the people are educated about drugs, what drugs are out there and are available, then that should be enough. If a person wants it, then, you know, you don't need to push in their face. You know what I mean? You don't need a bunch of sexy women drinking their Smirnoff Ice and a bunch of, like, you know, half-dressed men, all well-looking as well. You know, you ever notice that? They're all always good-looking in the ads. Like, you know, they're never ugly people. It's never the people like my dad with the big bear belly, you know, drinking his pint, sitting down at the high stool or something like that. They don't have those guys up there all advertising their pints. No, it's always the fit, healthy-looking people. But yeah, I would agree with, like, you know, no advertising for any drugs. End up with Amy says, now that you mention it, don't think I've ever seen a cigarette ad. Yeah, they don't, but like, do you ever see it in movies? They used to always pay for product placement in movies. They used to pay for that. Like, you know, to have a packet of Johnny Blues on the table, you know, in Coronation Street or something like that. I don't know. They'd pay for it. Like, you know, you wouldn't see it, but you see it. It's there. They get you. Bhagwan Son says, you know, well, the algorithm just worked. Wow, they've planned all this. It's free advertising. Please stop giving free shout outs. Nobody needs to advertise Jameson, like, you know what I mean? You have to be living under a rock if you don't know about Jameson. And apologies to any recovering alcoholics out there who might have been triggered by that ad. But in fairness, like, they're everywhere. Pods 4420, no bother for Holland and Barrett to send you advertised emails about their CBD products though. Yeah, that's right. I've gotten those actually. Yeah, that's so true. And as well, that there was other products there in where was I earlier? Lidl. I was doing shopping in Lidl earlier, and I came across a CBD honey in Lidl. Hemp honey, that's what they were calling it. I have a picture of it here again on the phone. John, you're going to be my patsy here again. Sorry, bud. I'm going to send you a few photos. These were CBD hemp products that were over in Lidl. And again, free shout outs there, Bhagwan Son. Sorry, bud. But it has to kind of happen. Just download this there again. Pop it up on screen for you. Boom. So I was up doing the shopping earlier today and I came across this product. So this was the hemp honey. And I have other photos here of the labels and stuff like that, but basically on the other labels kind of indicating what was actually in it, the ingredients, there was 250 grams of honey, and it was blossom honey, whatever, if I can, or no, sorry, 249 grams of blossom honey, and 1 gram of blossom of the hemp plant. And then underneath that, with a star, it says naturally occurring CBD 25 milligrams. Funny enough, isn't it? Yeah. Only the other day, they issued a little recall of their products because they're too high of THC. And yet over there, they still have these products. Like, why isn't Lidl getting raided? Why isn't the owners of Lidl having their homes raided? Why isn't that? Why isn't Holland and Barrett being raided? And Mark brought this up with the Gardaí in the Garda station the other day when he was being processed again with the cannabis he brought in the civil disobedience protest. He said it, he was like, you know that Lidl had a product recall where their THC or their hemp oil had too much THC in it. And the Garda was like, no, I didn't know that. And he was like, yeah, they're just after issuing a product recall. He was like, why are we being treated any differently from them? Why are they allowed to put products on the shelves without being harassed by ye? Why are you coming after us? Why? And it's a very valid question. The guard wasn't able to answer. He couldn't answer it. Do you know? And you know, maybe it's because, you know, they're not selling CBD flowers. But like, they still have products in there that contain THC. THC is a controlled drug in Ireland. Should be on shelves. Why aren't the Gardaí going in raiding the stores of Holland and Barrett or Lidl now? What about the people who have the products at home and they don't return them? They now have an illegal product in their home sold to them by Lidl, and if they choose to hold on to it, imagine if the guards entered your home. Are you not going to be done for that? Messed up, isn't it? Like, it really is. So yeah, do you know, while we can't take part in this industry at all, these products are being, you know, labelled up and shelved all over the world. But meanwhile, we're being kept out of this industry as Irish people because of our ignorant bloody government. It's mad. It's maddening. Incredibly maddening to me. Right, we drive on. We get through the last two headlines. The next headline there. Oh, what's to say? Little Germany were raided. What? No way. Get out of town. I'm going to have to fact check that. No way. Raid of suspected chain puts Germany's challenge in focus. Police in Rosenheim in German state of Bavaria raided a little supermarket last week, and this was dated August 17th, seizing THC and CBD free food products made from industrial hemp and promoting the German-owned international grocery chain to suspend sales. Lidl had been advertising a range of 21 products such as cannabis cookies, cannabis energy drinks and hash brownies, apparently drawing police attention, which, according to Abend Zeitung, which first reported the raid, Lidl confirmed the incident to Germany's Cannabis Business Industry Association, which criticised the police action. It is a positive signal that a large discounter is showing interest in the hemp food, said Martin Roschrek van der Hout, Vice President and Departmental Coordinator for Industrial Hemp and Food at BVCW. Overly restrictive, it says here, but the fact that after 25 years there are increasing controls and reprisals against food suppliers for harmless hemp products clearly shows that the police and public prosecutors are interpreting the existing laws more and more restrictively without need. Police said the products seized are undergoing analysis at a laboratory at the State Criminal Police Office in Munich, which could take several weeks. The discounter is apparently taking the range off the shelves for now, but it is unclear if the removal is nationwide across Germany. Lidl is reported to have sourced roughly 1.5 million units of the products in a deal with the supplier. It says these measures still breed the spirit of a long outdated ban policy. Tax money is wasted and the domestic economy is damaged. And it says German CBD sellers have repeatedly been targeted by local police, particularly in Bavaria, often facing criminal charges. But the seizure of products that contain no CBD and no THC ramps up the conflict between law enforcement agencies and hemp food producers. In the last 2 years, we've experienced an unimaginable arbitrariness of the authorities, when it comes to the hemp and CBD products, said Daniel Cruz, CEO of Hempro International, which successfully sued the city of Dusseldorf last year, leading to the lifting of a ban on the marketing and sale of products containing CBD in a natural extract form. This partly affects the whole of Europe, but Germany in particular is the sad frontrunner in this respect, said Cruz, who is also president of the European Industrial Hemp Association. There is an urgent need for a scientifically based approach in the development and guidelines of the limits for THC in food and commercial hemp food products and commercial hemp should be deleted from the BTMG, Germany's Narcotic Act, and legislation is needed there, says Jürgen Neumeyer, managing director, said crackdowns by regional authorities have been disproportionate and superfluous. It clearly shows that the clarification is required at the legislative level. Our goal is clear: industrial hemp must finally get out of the Narcotics Act. It's good that the general election is coming soon. BVCW says it is currently querying Germany's political parties on a wide range of issues affecting cannabis, including funding, research, narcotic laws, CBD, medical cannabis, and trade. Interesting. Come here, nice one for that, Pods. I hadn't been aware of that at all. Yeah, March for Little. That's hilarious. Like, I hadn't heard of that. No, that was news to my ears there. So nice one for sharing. And I'm sure others appreciate that one there as well. Because like, why isn't it happening here? Bernie Vaughan saying, I grew up on a farm in Ireland in the 60s and 70s. Hemp was used to make grain sacks, ropes, etc. It can be used to make clothing. The whole plant can be used. Such a versatile plant that grows on God's green earth. Has no waste after use. All products made from hemp could be recycled as compost. Imagine how much plastic could be replaced. Hitting the nail on the head. You know, there's a lot there to be said for this plant. Why in the name of God are we not allowing it to be grown? And it's because of the prohibition of cannabis. You know, if you were to lift the prohibition of cannabis, if you were to even just remove industrial hemp from it, you know, and if you were to allow 0.2% CBD or 0.2% THC, how are they going to differentiate it then? When you're walking down the road and, you know, one grinder has THC, the other grinder has CBD, how is the guard going to tell the difference? Are the guards going to have to carry around drug testing kits on them all the time? And you're going to be required to submit a little sample of your thing. Like, oh, what in the name of God are you doing? Imagine going up to somebody and saying, like, can I take a sample of your drink there to see if you've any illegal drugs inside in your drink? I believe you might be drinking some magic mushroom tea. Imagine if a cop came up to you and said that, like, you'd be like, get away, F off. Like, you know, you're not taking some of my bloody cup on tea or my coffee, whatever it might be you're drinking, like, you know. Yes, what you be saying. So yeah, it'll be messed up, all right. Like that, this is the big problem. How are they going to regulate it? They can't. They really can't. No. They effectively they have to legalize cannabis. They have to end it. They do in order to facilitate for the industrial hemp. They have to. CBD honey infused with Liberty caps. Nice. That'll be good, Podge. Some blue honey. Get in some lion's mane mushroom there as well, and you're flying. Other news out there, guys. There was a €358,000 worth of cocaine and mixing agent found in Dublin. And this was the picture that the Gardaí had put up there. And this was also another picture. So quite a bit of cocaine there, in fairness. Like, they're big bags of flour, like. All to be sent for analysis, obviously, to the Forensic Science Ireland. And also the Gardaí got up this tweet there about the seizure. They said the Gardaí have seized approximately €358,000 worth of suspected cocaine, a large quantity of suspected mixing agent, and 5 vehicles following the search of a property in County Dublin this morning. The combined estimated value of the vehicles is over €300,000, and investigations are ongoing. So a nice seizure to be made from. This was from last Friday, So quite a seizure to be made there from, in fairness. The vehicles all are going to end up in the Garda auction lot if they are to successfully show that they were bought with the proceeds of crime. The Gardaí then can auction those off, make some money for themselves. Great job, isn't it? Well, patting the back for the boys. Well done, the boys. The drugs, sure, that just adds in there to the old totting up the value there at the end of the year so they can argue for more budget for themselves again. You know, another pat in the back for the boys. Great stuff. But again, for the drug users out there, what's going to happen out there? If there is any cocaine out there, is it going to get stepped on more? Yeah, potentially. You know, people are going to see this out there now, and they have a bit of coke there themselves. They're like, "Feck it, there mustn't be much coke around the place there now. Fuck it, I'm going to mix in a bit of coke, or what's it called? The hydrocodone is cocaine. That's fucking dental stuff. Dentacane, I don't know what it's called. Codecaine, I don't know what it's called anyway. That mixing agent that they use with it, like, if you're lucky, that's what they might mix with it. They might fucking start mixing in the what's the other stuff that they like to mix with it? The sheep worming medication. That's what a poor old Jerry Ryan got. But again, waste of time. Just give the people what they want. As the next headline shows, that the next headline is that we're already a cocaine nation, apparently. That the cliche of the rich man's drug is long gone, and it's everywhere now. And this was a headline of the news over on, where was this? The Irish Times. So this was an article that was thrown up on the Irish Times, written by a journalist by the name of Jack Ryan, and it says that Ireland has the third highest rate of cocaine use in Europe, and there is growing concern about the long-term consequences of unprecedented levels of use among young people. It says powder cocaine occupies a peculiar space in drug culture, unlike its more sinister cousin crack. Powder cocaine has to some extent maintained a shroud of mystique and glamour, a symbol of wealth and excess, white lines on silver platters, the young professional's drug. It says, of course, the reality of cocaine use rarely ever resembles this depiction, but its relatively glamorous image might explain why it has become so popular in Ireland. And it says, according to a health research board, cocaine was the second most commonly cited drug use among cases treated for problem drug use in 2020 after opiates. The number of people seeking treatment for cocaine addiction trebled between 2014 and 2020, from 853 to 2,619. In 2019, the HRB reported that cocaine use in Ireland had returned to Celtic Tiger levels. And going over there to the Irish Times, if you want to give a read to that article, that's it there in its entirety. Anecdotal accounts from hospitality workers in Gardaí describes towns and cities as flooded with cocaine, even during the pandemic and its restrictions on nightlife. Do you know, another quote in there says, you can feel interesting and feel sociable, and you can feel confident when you take cocaine, whereas you can't necessarily feel those things at a party without it. Cocaine does the work. So yeah, these are just some of the quotes there that are in the article. I'm not going to go and read the whole thing. If you want to go over there and give it a read, belt away. But effectively what it's highlighting, the article, is prohibition has failed. Drugs are everywhere. Cocaine is everywhere. If people want to get cocaine, they're getting it. That's basically the takeaway from this. It's everywhere now. So basically, what are we doing? It's like we've a TV show coming up. Like, they talk about the glamorizing the life of or glamorizing cocaine. But talk about glamorizing the life of the drug dealers out there and the gangsters. We now have a TV show that's going to be coming out again, glamorizing it. It's called Kin, and again, I'm giving free airtime here to advertise this. It's going to be hitting the airwaves next month. But this just goes on to glamorize the life of these gangsters. You know, it shows them in their lovely suits, their flashy cars, you know, nice watches, nice houses, all of that shit. Take away all of the violence and all of the bloodshed that goes with it. It's all the flashiness. And there's other fellas out there thinking, oh, I can do that. Like, you know, and they glamorize it. And you know, we look at it like this cocaine is everywhere. These people are making the money. Why don't we just take it away from them? Instead of glamorizing their lifestyle, take it away from them. If we really want to help people, as the Gardaí's mission is supposedly supposed to be, our mission for the next 3 years is important, it's simple: keeping people safe as the guardians of the peace, keeping people safe and safeguarding human rights is central to what we do. Keeping people safe will be the guiding principle upon which we will base the strategic and operational decisions. Would it not keep people safe if the violence that we see on the streets of Ireland associated with the drugs trade was gone? Yes, it would. Would it not? Surely. And would it not be keeping people safe if the young people who have gone down the pathway of getting themselves involved with organised crime gangs were diverted away from that with more well-equipped services out there, with more well-funded services out there? Yes, it would. How can we do all this? Well, we regulate the sale and supply of even cocaine. Look at there, I said it. Yeah, let's regulate the sale and supply of cocaine. If a person wants to walk into a chemist and they want to buy themselves some hydrocodone, I believe that's the chemical name for cocaine. If they want to go in and buy some cocaine, so be it. Let them off. Like, what's the problem? They're already getting it. You go onto Snapchat, you go onto Instagram, you go onto the dark web. You say, I want some cocaine. Well, you don't say that. You do the appropriate things, and before you know it, it's delivered to your door by the postman. We're getting no taxes off that. We already seen an escalation in the number of people being treated for cocaine abuse. Surely, that's only a small percentage of the cocaine users out there. You look at the amount of cocaine that's coming into Ireland. Look at the amount of it. How many cocaine users are out there? How many will actually admit to it in surveys? There's not many who will actually admit to it. Like, it's hard enough for people to admit to use cannabis. Like, it's few and far between the people who would admit to using cocaine. I'd imagine there's a lot more people out there who would use cocaine than we would think anyway. I don't know, would a number come close to 10% of the adult population? I don't know. But there's a lot out there. And it's far from 2,000, whatever the number is, that are getting treated for drug abuse. 2,000 people, was it? I would imagine you have close to like 200,000 people who actually use cocaine and use it no problem. They don't develop abuse of it. They don't develop problems with it. They stop it when they want to stop it or whatever. So again, let's regulate the sale and supply of people's drug of choice. Let them get access to it if they wish. If people want to use heroin and if they're addicted to heroin, then let's open it up. Let's have heroin assisted therapy. And again, yeah, definitely like Podge, you say you're an ex-coke user out there. But if cocaine was illegal and regulated in the morning, like, knowing you're past with it, would you risk it? Would you risk going down that road again? Like there's people out there who are ex-alcoholics, like, but would they support the calling for a ban on alcohol sales? Like, they wouldn't. Would you, as an ex-cocaine addict, or ex-coke user, as you're saying, would you go back down that road yourself? I don't know. And I'm just thinking you were saying that you had a bit of a troubled past, but I don't know, Podge. Maybe you just got in trouble for having a bit too much of it. But I suppose you might, if you're a responsible drug user, you can use it as a tool where appropriate. I definitely, if cocaine was legal in the morning, and if I was to be going out, like if I had a long night going out, a party or a festival or something like that, yeah, maybe, potentially. I might try a bit of cocaine for the crack, like. But yeah, I'm not too big a fan of it. Like, yeah, as you said, our 420 supplies, like, I'm not a fan of it myself. Definitely not. But maybe I've only tried like pure dirty stuff. I wonder what it'd be like to get some of the nice clean stuff, the nice good cocaine. Like the cocaine that's going to be given out by the Drug Users Liberation Front. I'm going to get them up on screen there now. They're going to be handing out free drugs again tomorrow in Vancouver. I believe it's in Vancouver, I think. It was Dana Larson, who I also interviewed in the past. If you haven't seen that interview, go check it out. Dana Larson wrote a tweet about it. I've already retweeted his tweet, but just get it up there again. Yeah, he says the Drug Users Liberation Front will be giving away free heroin, cocaine and meth again on Tuesday as part of Overdose Awareness Day. And I'll pop this up on screen so you can see this also. So this is Dana Larson here. Drug Users Liberation Front will be giving away... Ah, darn it, I clicked the wrong part. Yeah, giving away free cocaine, free heroin, free meth, again on Tuesday as part of the Overdose Awareness Day. And what's that? Vancouver is awesome. That's the website. VancouverIsAwesome.com. Nice. There's a little video here there actually as well.
How many people got to die before we stop this? Because it's getting pretty ludicrous as far as I'm concerned.
That's Eris Nix, one of the founders of the Drug User Liberation Front, who says the regime of prohibition is to blame for an overdose crisis that claimed the lives of 1,700
Sorry, my bad.
and 24 British Columbians in 2020 alone.
I'm like, and this is the easy parallels. The prohibition of alcohol did three things. It increased the potency of alcohol because people didn't want to manufacture beer. It was harder to smuggle. It fueled organized crime and violence in that regard, and it caused mass poisoning from bad alcohol, from methanol, people going blind and getting gut rot and dying.
And what might it be like to purchase these drugs in Vancouver in the future?
When you get a little box like this, it's discreet, they check your ID, maybe you have a membership, maybe whatever, where you can go in and get your drugs and not feel shame or stigma.
But Dolph founder Jeremy Calicum underscores that the group is providing an emergency response rather than long-term policy.
I think there's an important distinction to make between, what we're doing and what's a sustainable kind of policy alternative. And what we're doing is at its core just an emergency response. We're trying to stop the death. And the current Dolph model isn't accessible to people who don't use drugs. We're only giving it to people who already use drugs, we know already use drugs through existing drug user networks.
Right. A question that I had was when you were speaking to just accessing these drugs, having to go on the dark web, all these different sort of ways that you're improvising that are safer. What does that mean for a person who uses drugs in Vancouver and has to access them on their own? Can we speak to just how difficult that is, how dangerous it can be, and just those sort of other systems that are precarious?
Can I speak to that first? I think here's the thing. Most dealers do not want to see the folks they're selling drugs to harmed. Most dealers are also users of drugs. Most people have friendship relationships with the people they're selling drugs to. There's not a lot of the story of the violent drug pusher is not a true and honest story. What the issue is a regime of prohibition switching the market up. So your dealer might be on the block one day, you always go to them, their dope's always relatively the same. They'll tell you if it changes. You can go to an OPS, whatever. One day you go and your dealer's been arrested, so they're not there. You go to someone else, and the volatility in the fentanyl in that drug, it could be lethal, right? I think if anything, the rates of people using drugs will decrease if you make them licit, and you see that with anything that's been prohibited. There's something edgy about it being illegal that I think makes it more interesting to try something dangerous, like smoking, like anything else. We're not trying to be like, hey kids, try heroin, it's fun. We're trying to say, if people are going to use heroin, it should be safe and it should be available so they don't get wiped off the face of the earth.
Organized crime critique. There's also a critique where people are like, this money would be better spent in recovery. They're like, if everybody just recovered, we wouldn't have to solve the drug war, which is, kind of a bizarre argument that's not rooted in any sort of evidence. But I do want to say that Dolph is extremely supportive of recovery for people who want it. We're opposed to forced recovery because we know that doesn't work.
One is that 95% of people that go into abstinence-based recovery relapse. It's not a very successful type of program. Horrible thing though. I don't think the average person understands what it's like to have to breathe air into someone to keep them alive while you wait for a paramedic once a week. Someone you don't know that just dropped dead in front of you,
So there was some clips that was up on the video there, just attached this, some of the volunteers there with the Drug Users Liberation Front speaking out. Go check out this article if you want to give it a read through. Decent enough old article, and give the guys a follow as well over on Twitter if you haven't already done so. Definitely give Dana Larson a follow. but the Drug Users Liberation Front there as well, DULF BC. I don't know why I have to follow them again. I was definitely following them. There's something going on there funny on Twitter where they'll be making people unfollow these groups and stuff. Am I still following Dana? Surely I am, because I seen his tweet. But it happened as well with Chris Krent out there as well. Yeah, I wasn't able to follow his. I was unfollowed from his page too. I'm not sure what the crack is with that. But yeah, definitely check them out. But like we need to be doing these kind of things here really as well. We have an emergency here. We need people to keep people safe. As the Guards mission says, keep people safe. Why aren't we doing it? So well done to activists like this. You know, these people are just taking a bold step out there, doing what needs to be done. And I like, you know, much like yourself, like recreational heroin use and meth use. It's kind of like, it's hard to agree with that kind of thing. But then when you hear Dr. Clare talking about his use of heroin and how he uses it, I'm just kind of like, well, fair play to him. Do you know what I mean? More power to him. If he's, you know, who am I to judge? That's kind of my comment there in regard to that, really. And I don't think we should ever really be judging. I hate the term recreational drug use. I hate that term. Because my reason for drug use and your reason for drug use might not have anything to do with recreation at all. For me, do you know, there was peer pressure there. Was there recreation? There was peer pressure. And when I enjoyed it, and when I tried it, I enjoyed it. Was that recreation? No, that was me maybe self-medicating in some way, possibly. Who knows? It's complicated, like, but the label it recreational. I just dislike that, unfortunately. I just don't like that term. Right, let's drive on. And the final headline I have for you today, guys. After a long old show, apologies. I got a lot of rants in there. And I see Podge as well saying, you know, Podge saying, oh yeah, it's no fun, but that's why I fight to legalise things now. Because I don't want what happened to me to happen to the younger generation. He's referring to them. Podge saying he's been to prison because of it and it gave him insomnia. Oh yeah, I forgot you were saying that actually, Podge, that because of your cocaine use got to a point where you ended up developing insomnia. That's insane. But at least you got the herb. The herb will help you through. Unfortunately for this man in his 20s, this was a seizure that happened in County Clare, and €52,000 worth of cannabis was seized by the Gardaí there. A man in his late 20s was arrested after undercover Gardaí seized 52,000 worth of suspected cannabis following 3 searches in County Clare. So 3 searches. It says the Gardaí attached to Kilrush Garda Station and Clare Divisional Drugs Unit conducted the separate searches under Operation Tara in the Kilmahill area on Sunday afternoon. During the operation, a quantity of suspected cannabis herb estimated to be worth 52,000 was located and seized. The man is currently detained at Kilrush Garda Station under Section 2 of the Criminal Justice Drugs Trafficking Act. It says the seizure is part of Operation Tara, an enhanced national anti-drug strategy launched by the Garda Commissioner Drew Harris. The focus of Operation Tara is to dismantle, disrupt and prosecute drug trafficking networks at all levels, international, national, local, involved in the importation, distribution, cultivation, production, local sale and supply of controlled drugs. Operation Tara. Sad. And they won't even advertise. You see this, look, they've blurred out the pictures in the bag. You notice that? They blurred them out. They don't want to advertise for them anymore. I wonder who that is. I wonder what that's about. Like, I wonder why they blur out the labels. They don't want to advertise the product for the dealers. I don't know. But I thought that was funny. I liked seeing the labels. I liked seeing. I seen a few amnesias there. I seen a few recognizable labels anyway over in the past. But now they're starting to block them out. Maybe it's because they're getting wide to me now. But yeah, sad seizure, sad state of affairs. 52 kilos or 52,000 worth of cannabis. That's 2.5 kilos of cannabis seized. A man in his 20s, a young man, been arrested. No need for it. There really is no need for it. Look, if you're out there, if you're the man in your 20s, you were involved in this, give me a shout. Let me know what the crack is. I'd love to hear from you. Do you know what's the story? You know what's in line for you? Do you know, do you owe somebody a lot of money? Was this just a loss that you take as an investment you made, and it's, you know, it's like, shit, what can you do? I'd be interested in hear what the situation is. You know, I don't think you were growing this yourself anyway. Definitely looks like imported and then rebagged into sandwich bags. I don't really like plastic and cannabis, sorry, but that's just me. But yeah, I'd be interested in hearing what the story is there anyway from you. It's balls. It really is, because, you know, you slap 20% tax on that, like, and you're thinking of good things you could do there in County Clare, up above there in Kilmahill. Think of the jobs you could have been creating. Imagine if that was locally grown cannabis. Imagine if that young man in his 20s was, you know, a qualified botanist or whatever, you know, a real top quality gardener, and capable of producing some grade A, triple A, top shelf cannabis. But unfortunately, no, he's just another criminal, another statistic. He's just a 1 in 10. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys, for today's 420 news. Apologies, it was a bit scattered, a bit all over the place. Had a bit of a busy morning running around doing a few bits and pieces, so I didn't get to get as prepared as I would have liked to. I would have liked to have had those pictures from that protest a bit more lined up, but sure, what can you do? We got here, we made it. A few technical difficulties along the way, but feck it, we're done. There's the phone on. Let's quickly open up the hotline for a couple of minutes. I will go over there to the Martin's World hotline. Boom, there we go. Connected up to the Bluetooth. If anyone wants to give a buzz, say hello, share their thoughts, opinions on anything that we covered there on the show today. Feel my guest. The line is open. I have a ball packed. I'm going to hit this. 13 minutes to 4:20 in where is it 4:20 next? Cape Verde. Sure, I should have known. Cape Verde. It's happening, Cape Verde. Off of the coast of Africa. So right, let's blaze this one up. Cassidus Drogas saying, sorry to hear you have to go to prison, Podge, but nobody should have to go to, nobody should have to experience that for any drug. 100% Cassid, I would echo that there as well. Nobody should have to go to prison for any drug, especially, you know, when it's their own body, my choice. Pods 4420, there's a time and a place for everything. I'll use that at a festival or that, other than that, I hate the stuff. Bagwan Son says, give me Mandy and shrooms and acid, and I like to go outside for a while and be a passenger. Nice. Yes, can't bait some shrooms anyway. I definitely like my shrooms. And saying that, I've only done shrooms, like, I can count on one hand how many times I've done shrooms. Like, I've only done shrooms 5 times. 5 times I've done shrooms. I've done acid 3 times. I've done DMT 4 times. And that's it. That's pretty much it. Well, truffles. I've done some truffles as well, like, but they're really psychedelics. Like, they're more just fucking giddy bang machines or something. I don't know. I just laughed my ass off on the truffles. It was so funny. End up with Amy saying, I'm the opposite, never tried it and wouldn't have any desire to try it if it was available in a pharmacy. This helps debunk the everyone who will want it if it's available BS too. There you go, Amy, dead right. You're not alone in that. I'd say there's many people out there like you who would have no interest in trying it if it was legal in the morning. Other comments out there. Cassidus Drug asks, hashtag safe supply is harm reduction. Definitely. We need to legalise and regulate all drugs, not just cannabis. Hype says, I grew up with heroin addicts and my problem wasn't anything to do with the purity of their drugs. It was that they were stealing my belongings to fund their habit. Yeah, that's a problem, all right, you know. If a person is so addicted to something that they're willing to steal off a person, then I would believe that person would qualify to be able to get, you know, their heroin under some sort of a scheme, a heroin assisted therapy, because obviously they've got problems bigger than their drug use, I would imagine. You know, if they're robbing because of their drug use, there's probably something underlying there that they're not wanting to address. Because to be honest, like cannabis, like for me, I really enjoy cannabis, but like I've known myself, I've my kids, my family, like, you know, if I needed to, I don't know, if I needed money for something, and if my choice was, you know, this week's shopping or cannabis, well, of course it's going to be this week's shopping. If it was going to be school shoes for the kids or cannabis, it's going to be school shoes for the kids. Like, come on, like, in fairness, like, you know. So for me, if any stage it was cannabis over my kids, like, then for me it's like, you've got a problem. Like, you've a problem. I don't think it's a drug use really there at all, is it? Like, Pods for 420 is saying, I've seen a lot of good people get destroyed by heroin. Don't know how I'd feel about people being able to get it legally unless it was prescribed or something. Yeah, that's it, like that, you know, prescription or something, you know. This drug user network, as they're talking about, but prescription there too. There's definitely a better way forward. Prohibition is not the answer anyway. That's for sure. Hype says, only other drug I seen made of it, people do that was diazepam. Interesting. Podge saying the only thing prohibition is shown is it's good at destroying lives. That's a fact, Podge. Irish Hemp Harvest saying, that's why we need safe spaces for consumption for people afflicted with addiction. Looks like a castle not far from me. Is that Castle Donovan in your pick? Rocket Castle it is. Alright, another great show, Martin. Nice one, Teresa. Appreciate that. Podge 85 says, sure, no one is perfect, Martin, and that's why we like you. Nice one, Podge. Appreciate that, bud. Zappa Score stopped off for a smoke on the way down to Cork for a surfing trip. Nice. Where were you going surfing? Down to Garrettstown or something like that? Feck, it gets a shout. I might get down and do a bit of surfing. Maybe if they rent out a surfboard and wetsuit and shit like. But wouldn't mind doing a bit of surfing. All right, that'd be a good old crack. Let me know where you're going. I wouldn't mind if you know what you're doing. I don't know how to surf at all. But I'm fucking willing to try. Couldn't be much more difficult than skateboarding. I was alright at that. I could do a few ollies. Monsieur Fudge says it's usually no skateboard. How many 420s in a show? Well, we're getting 2 in this show today, it seems. I'll stick around for another 7 minutes anyway, so that would be 2 420s. Susan Ann, what's happening? Susan Ann says, yeah, big crims we are, and they are. Well, what are the questions? We have the right of the herb. Natural law, fairy folk will be getting a little irate soon. Free the herb. Spread a little bit of love through the medicine of a sacred plant. Thanks very much for that, Susan. In the way Amy says, yeah, Martin, like Rayman, yeah, we got through that one there earlier. Going through some of these older ones. Apologies. Got a repeat there of a lot of the comments through. The Zappa Score says, nothing compares to DMT. That stuff is psychonaut stuff. Yeah, for me, the DMT certainly did the trick anyway. It was blast off. None of the other psychedelics could compare. Podge 85, I can't wait for a bit of fresh mountain air while picking a few mushies. Nice, Podge. If you want some company, buddy, give me a shout. More than happy to come down there. Head down, walking through the field. isn't there a song about picking mushrooms? I think there is. There probably is. I think it's by a Scottish artist. Might have a look for it there in a few seconds. Kevin Dunn says, I'm back home making a dinner and keep rolling a couple for a walk in the woods. Nice. Yeah, I'm going to have one more bong hit there, and I'll be heading off myself to go down and do a bit of Thai boxing. But I'll go for a run as well. Teach a class at 7:30. But I will get a bit of a run in there as well, either most likely afterwards. I'd say I'll probably go down and just smash the bag there for a half hour or so before the class starts. Other comments out there. My honest opinion, heroin needs to stay off the streets, more heroin seizures and less of a weed snags. Well, yeah, that like I suppose, Oshina, I would agree with you in a sense that heroin needs to stay off the streets, but under prohibition, it's more on the streets now than whatever it is. I suppose, like, if we were to regulate the safe supply of heroin to people who want to use heroin, is it on the streets? Could you say heroin is on the streets then? Because if it's people who use heroin, like, what fear is there that it's going to be sold the way it is currently? Because there'll be no money there to be made off it, you know what I mean? Because heroin is pretty cheap at the moment, really, like in terms of, you know, when you compare it to cannabis anyway, at least, you know, I'm hearing of people getting like €5 and €10 heroin deals and shit like that out there. So, like, it's quite cheap at the moment, like, so it's how more on the streets can it be than what it is right now? Like, if what I'm saying, like, is we legalize and regulate it, that means that if you're a person who wants to use heroin, then you go to a regulated environment, you be prescribed your heroin, you're dispensed your heroin, you might have to use it there. Do you get to take it home? I think that flies in the face of maybe safe consumption then. Because the benefit of the safe consumption spaces is that there's a health professional there who can, like, supervise the consumption of the heroin. So I definitely think there needs to be a safe consumption, and that's for injecting drug users who inject heroin. You know, I think you have to differentiate really, like, when it comes to heroin use. It's injecting heroin use that you'd be looking at. And as well, crack cocaine, apparently there's people who are shooting that up out there now as well. So injecting drug users, they're the ones who really need to be taken off the streets and brought into safe spaces and given safe supply. It's all part and parcel of harm reduction. Sorry for waffling on that one. John Finnegan, a person I know who is an ex-heroin user, once told me that you can never trust a heroin user, even if you known them all your life. Yeah, you see, I think you're painting them all with the one brush then. Because, like, I've hung out with Dr. Carl Hart. I had the pleasure of meeting him in Liverpool back in 2015, I think it was, or 2016. We were at the Hot Topics conference, and I spent the night out with him. He likes the old Guinness, in fairness to him, or was it Murphy's, the stout anyway, with the lovely white head. He was drinking that stuff for the evening. I was on the Raza. I was having a cider and pints of water and stuff like that, but I brought over a few pre-rolls with me as well. He wouldn't have a smoke with me. He said he doesn't smoke and drink at the same time, so I didn't get to have a smoke with Carl Hart. But I would have never have known he was a heroin user. And to be fair, like, he didn't rob off me. Like, I didn't feel like I couldn't trust him. I definitely felt like I could leave my wallet in front of the guy. Like, he's holding down a job, you know, all of these things. Like, he's... Would you say is the exception? But, like, if there's one exception, can there not be more? And I'd imagine there's many more. So I don't like that tarring them all with the one brush. I think many of them can be, you know, depends on how again, you know, where they're at with their drug use. Because let's say if you're a person addicted to heroin and you've got a bank card and you've got $1 million in there or whatever, like, do you know what I mean? And you basically, you've got no money worries. You're never gonna, that person's probably never gonna rob from you unless they lose their bank card, you know, and they're waiting for it to be sent out in the mail and you won't give them a loan. Maybe then they might rob from you, but you know what I mean? So, like, it's it's not it's the environment for the person that makes them steal for you, like, you know. I don't know, it's a complicated one, really, like. But again, if people are able to get access to safe and regulated free supply of their drug, then, you know, sorted. Happy fucking days. Right, let's get a ball packed here. Because it's about to click on over into 420 in Cape Verde. And we'll say goodbye then not long after that. And it seems the audience is shy out there, guys. Everybody's commenting in the box, though. It's good. The hot box is busy. The hot box is always smoking. So there we go, guys. Happy 420 in Cape Verde. Blaze one up with you. Oh, Podge. I'm buying a kayak myself soon and can't wait to get out in the water fishing. Yes. Nice, Podge. Delighted to hear that, boy. I'd love to go doing that myself. Yeah, I'd definitely join you fishing. I'll do it from the shore while you go out in the kayak. You can tell me where the fish are and where to cast. Blaze this one up, and many more to come. Other comments out there coming in. Great show, guys, and thank you for joining in today. And have a lovely evening. That's coming from Podge. Nice one, Podge. Zappa Score says, was surfing in Inchydoney. Cork's a beautiful country. Didn't get a chance to see it all. Oh, you're gone and all, Zappa, is it? Ah, nice. Fair enough. Next time. And Inchydoney is a good spot then as well. That's down the West Cork direction, isn't it? I heard there's pretty good waves down there as well. But I always thought it was Garrettstown was the place for waves in Cork anyway. Maybe that's just the closest one to me, and I'm biased in that regard. Excuse me, delayed smoke there, or cough there. And the way Amy says, heroin more available in prisons than on the streets. If they can't keep it out of prisons, they'll never succeed in getting rid of it. 100% Amy, couldn't agree with you more there. Who do we have calling in? Hello, welcome to Martin's World.
Hello, Martin. How's it going? John Finnegan here.
John Finnegan. Nice one for being me old Patsy there for the messages earlier. Sorry for that.
Yeah, I just sent your revenge for all the messages I sent you.
Yeah. Always appreciating them, buddy.
No hassle, pal. Just wanted to call in and say Saturday was a great day in Dungarvan, and it was great to see the local support for Mark and his family. It was absolutely amazing, and well done to everyone who turned up as well.
It was a great show of support there on short notice to see so many people to come out and to be willing to march right through the town and chant along with us in call for the ending of this prohibition and the suffering caused by it. It was great to see it. You hung around a bit afterwards. Sorry for having to bounce early with the family. I would love to have hung around and shot the breeze with Ollie, but did you stay around for much longer afterwards?
Yeah, myself and Amy were there for a bit. We went to Mark's Cafe, had a coffee, bite to eat, and then a few of us went back to the park, had a little talk, and said our goodbyes.
Ah, very nice. And
so I'd say about 20 minutes after you left, I'd say.
Okay, yeah, not much long after. How was the coffee? Is it all the rage? Apparently the local Gardaí say that it's top quality coffee.
Well, I can't blame them because it was absolutely excellent.
Excellent. So if you're out there, guys, and if you're in Dungarvan, get on in and grab a coffee. It's top quality stuff and ReLeaf.
And I can highly recommend the flapjacks as well.
Oh, nice. Yes, lovely.
Right, listen, sure. We'll see you at the next one anyway, Martin. I have to bounce there in a few minutes anyway.
No bother, and there will be a next one very soon, John. I reckon we'll be doing something here in Cork and then Dublin for a big one once the government return in the second week there of September. So we're back at the drawing board, drawing up the plans.
Brilliant. So,
excellent.
Talk to you again, my brother.
Thanks for the call, buddy. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Bye-bye.
So, John Finnegan, guys, nice one for the call there, John. And as I was saying to John, guys, yeah, definitely this Tuesday, the Cannabis Activist Alliance, we will be meeting again, and we will be putting together some plans for forthcoming, again, protest actions against this prohibition that's afflicting our community with so much suffering. The government are going to be back. They return, I believe, just looking at the calendar now, I believe they're going to return on the 13th of September. I could be wrong on that one. I think it's the second week of September, which would be the 13th of September. So we would probably hold something in Dublin, all going well, around the 15th or the 16th, which would be the Wednesday or the Thursday. It's going to have to be midweek, guys. It's going to be maybe during the lunch hour. We'll hold it between 12 and 2, something like that, you know. I believe that's going to be the next time we're going to have to get out there. March, big numbers again, calling for the ending of the cannabis prohibition. Again, keeping in mind that Gino Kenny will be submitting a bill for the legalisation of cannabis to the Irish government. Not long after that then, you know, maybe in October that bill might get submitted. But I think it's incredibly important that on the first week of return of the sitting government, that we get out there and have a big protest to the Dáil where they sit, or to the convention centre where they're sitting, wherever. Do you know what I mean? But we're going to figure that one out tomorrow evening. I see Podge is already counting himself in. Nice one. I'm also believing I'm going to do something here in Cork, guys. Before that, so we're at the 30th of thing. It's my birthday on Saturday coming, actually, the 4th. I don't want to do something for my birthday, but maybe we will. Will we do something for my birthday? Will we celebrate my birthday by getting a load of us just to march into my birthday, and we go march into the Garda station together? How many people are willing to do that for my birthday? Saturday the 4th of September. Would we meet up, have a little 420 shindig, and then march to the local Garda station, and how many are willing to go in with a little piece of cannabis? How low can we go, like, you know, a little speck of it? Do you know, like, I have a little piece of cannabis here, like, look how small that is. Like, that's like a small, like, yeah, it's green, obviously, so the green screen's messing it up, but like less than a gram. It's about a gram there, or less than 0.1 of a gram even, I'd say. How small can you go? I don't know. I don't want to be asking you for anything, like, but we're just throwing it out there, like, 4th of September. I don't know that the family have anything planned. Like, I get in trouble there now for organising a protest for my birthday. But in fairness, it would make me very happy. So leave it with me. I'll plan it out. I'll chat with the guys at the Cannabis Activist Alliance tomorrow evening. I'll chat it out with the family, see what the crack is there. If they've got any plans for my birthday, if they're happy to celebrate my birthday maybe on the Sunday. And we can engage in a little bit of civil disobedience on the Saturday. I don't know, just throwing it out there, like, 400 people on the 4th at 4:20 heading into Cork Garda Station. Yes. I wonder. It's my birthday party and everybody's invited, so it's like a birthday protest. Like, has anybody had a birthday protest? It's never been done before, I wonder. It would make me very happy though, like, you know. And yeah, Bhagwan's son says, got to make a wish come true. I can make it up if a few heads go, sure, why not? Nice, good to hear, guys. Look, leave it with me. Look, I'll just suss it out with the family. I'll make sure that they don't have any surprises for me on that day. And if all is good, then maybe on Wednesday's 420 news. Again, short notice on it, like, but we'll get it out there. Well, maybe even on Tuesday evening after the meeting with the Cannabis Activist Alliance, we'll get it out there. But it needs to be done. We really need to get it going. You know, go into the Garda station, the smallest piece of cannabis, a load of people, just waste a hell of a lot of time and draw attention to it. Get onto the media and say, hey, look, that was what people are willing to do. We're willing to engage in this, and we're willing to tie up the system. They can't keep up with it. Endo with Amy says, I've a 40th in Dublin next Saturday, pal. Have to give this one a miss. Great show as always. Thanks. Not a bother at all, Amy. Appreciate it. And enjoy that 40th. Hope it's going to be a good enough fee. Yeah, you wouldn't like my birthday parties anyway. We don't drink. I seen that last party you went, that fair play gives the socks. That's the job. Good to see. And she's saying hashtag Martin Luther King content legend. Nice one. I'd say you'd like the edibles, though. I'd say you'd like my birthday cake, Amy. Be ashamed to miss out on that. Ooh, private number. Who's this one? I wonder, is it Eric from the local guard? Hello, Martin's World. Ah, they were shy. Ah. Let's all go to our local for Martin's birthday at 4:20. There, that's another suggestion. Yeah, hold a little protest all at your own Garda stations in honour of me. Let's try this one again. Hello, Martin's World. Welcome to Martin's World.
Hey, Martin. Hey, Martin. It's Teresa.
Hi, Teresa. What's happening? You good?
What's the crack? I just seen your call out there, and I was saying with the audience that you have and stuff, I'd give you a shout in. I think we need to get more and more towns and counties and cities and stuff like that, more people involved, you know?
I would agree with you. Yeah, we definitely do. But hopefully we can get more people inspired in those areas just to rise up and you know, be the leaders within their own area too. Each area needs its leader. While I'm happy to do as much as I can, that there are limitations of being one person.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Call out to your supporters and your fans. You know that we need to organise in cities and towns around the country. You know, for
Yeah, definitely. And I think that the Cannabis Activist Alliance meeting might be a good place for us to do it. Like we've already got such a good core group of people that meet there regularly. I think it's time now we try to get it a bit more active, a bit more formal maybe, and start getting people up and running, you know, within their own area, out there recruiting
maybe information
people.
days or something, cannabis reform information days or something like that in towns, or maybe something like that, you know, and that'll bring people to you talking that are cannabis users as well, and I'm sure that'll help drum up.
Yeah.
Getting people organised in them towns, like.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, we definitely do. I think like we've got such a great community of people going on out there. Like we're well spread now, aren't we? In fairness, like we've got a good spread across Ireland. Like we just need to get more on board now.
Yeah. Right, well, listen, brilliant show, Martin, as always.
Nice.
And I'll talk to you soon, look.
Teresa, nice one for the call, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
You too. You too.
Bye.
Bye.
So that was Teresa there, guys. Teresa is a regular listener into the show. Also a member of the Cannabis Activist Alliance out there as well. Again, great group of activists. Many of us out there, and they're incredible. In fairness, like, you know, they've done an awful lot over the last couple of months. Dedicated a lot of their time, and we're meeting regularly. So fair play to them. Tom Hennessy, I need more than one person to carry out the motive to get this done. Go on, Tom. What you got to do? On your own is tough. Well, Tom, look, it is, but look, the what is it? The things that are worth doing are never easy. That's what I was trying to think of how to say it. Yeah, the things that are worth doing are never easy. And probably the more challenging it is, the probably more worthwhile it is to do it. And ending cannabis prohibition is one heck of a worthwhile cause to get behind, you know. Feck, we've a little bit here left in the grinder. We'll do one more ball, and then we start hitting the road. I always intend for these shows to be only like an hour long, maybe at most. That's what I aim for, and I always end up going on for like 2 hours, guys. Because do you know why? You guys are amazing. Great audience out there. Love the phone calls, love the comments, guys. Seriously, like just love the support that you give me. So, thanks very much, everyone. The next bowl is in honor of all of ye. Podge says, no one is ever alone if they are fighting for the right things in life. True that, Podge. Boom. Podge says, I would ring you, but I hate my voice. Podge, you know who hates their voice too? Me. And I have to hear it through these headphones every time I come on here. It's bloody torture, but it's worth it too. Casa de Strugas, that's the story. He says, you don't have to listen back, Podge. There you go, Podge. Casa de Strugas, egging you on. We got one more bowl left of me. We got maybe 2 more minutes, Podge, so if you want to get it in, we'll hold out for you. Nice one for that, Tom. We'll get you involved there. I see Tom's thing coming in there, comment coming in. Don't everybody take Tom's number and DDoS him. That's lousy. Be nice, guys. You're a good audience. I trust you not to do that. Be wide where you're putting your number, Tom. I wouldn't be throwing it out in the comment sections like that. Everybody will see it in the hot box. But nice one anyway, Tom. Legend. And nice one for that comment there as well, Zappa. Much appreciated. Best podcast on YouTube. Love tuning in. Appreciate that. Let's blaze this one up, guys. This is for all of you out there. John Finnegan is saying that Podge has been smoking some of that philosophical weed again. You got some philosophical weed, Podge? You holding out on me, bro? That sounds like some epic stuff, man. Hashtag get Podge the ring. Right, we'll have to close it off there anyway. Podge, missed your opportunity. We'll sort something out for you next time. I believe I got around to everything anyway that I wanted to cover today, guys, in today's 420 news. It's been an absolute pleasure to bring it to you, as always. I'll be back on Wednesday with more 420 news. So until then, stay blazed, guys. Keep her lit. Much love. Peace. Gotta go down and smash some pads at the gym. So enjoy your evening all, guys, and see you on Wednesday.